Hello, beautiful souls. How are you today, this evening? Hope everything is going well. I was not planning on recording right this moment because I have been dealing with some big flare-ups, and the video I was hoping to make for this week is about being your own patient's advocate when dealing with any sort of illness. None of us know what we don't know, right? I'm educated in various fields, and I've had experiences over my decades in corporate America and before that. But I don't know what I don't know about those areas, even when I was in them and I was the SME. There's so much information. And the same goes, the noise you hear in the background is one of our cats playing. None of us knows what we don't know. And the doctors, they know so much. They really do. And I'm so grateful for everyone in the medical field. My mom was in the medical field. I almost went into it. My son almost went into it. It's a wonderful place for people to be, and I'm so grateful for all the souls that do it. But we all know what we know from our experience, from our intuition, from our education, knowledge. But because we don't know what we don't know, there can be fringe cases that can throw a diagnosis out, can throw support out, regardless if it's Western medicine or alternative medicine or Eastern medicine, whatever it might be. So yeah, being your patient's advocate. I went on a little longer about that than I thought I would, but I think it's good for all of us to know that we're allowed to question our doctors. So I'll go through that in a separate video, but I guess that's your little teaser of what's coming next. Right now, I'm talking about chronic illness. I've been on the fringe of chronic illness since I was a teenager. I started getting migraines really bad. It wouldn't go away. They would come every month. I would get a couple of them, and I never understood what was triggering them. My mom had them all the time, it seemed like, and I didn't understand what it was like to be knocked down by a chronic illness that completely takes you out of your reality. Your life, your being, your essence gets shrunk down to this little piece of existence compared to the vastness that you had or perceived you had at that other time, right? So my life before the chronic illness hit back in 2023, I ballroom danced, not as consistently as I had been in 2016 through 19. I had a couple of whiplashes. I ballroom danced very often. I was fit, probably the best shape I had ever been in my life. I'm so grateful that I started doing ballroom dance, and I hope to one day be able to start taking at least one lesson a month or something, a week. I had a pretty active social life. I loved visiting my friends, and I would go out and I would interact with the world around me. I'd go to markets every once in a while with friends. I think I had a pretty full life. And I'm not saying I don't have a full life now, but it has definitely changed. And anyone that's been through or is dealing with chronic illness or has a family member or friend that does, you understand it. And I'm not saying any of this for pity, because there's so many people out there dealing with things that I've never experienced that are so much heavier or as heavy as what I'm doing. You know what I mean? I don't want to diminish anyone's anything, because we all have such unique experiences, and it's hard for people outside of us to understand what's really going on and how much it's really changed, and for the caregiver or person that's in that household. My husband has been a complete rock through this entire thing. I I am so grateful for him, and I'm so grateful for how strong he's being, and he's got a lot on his shoulders, and I really do everything I can to support him on the days that I have like a good day. Even on the bad days. Like today I'm on day three or four of a flare, and this is the bottom half of the flare. So it's not the 9 or the 8. There is a pain scale. I think I shared it in my first video, and it's a pain scale of 1 to 10. And the situation I'm dealing with these head pains, it does get to a 9. I never understood what a 9 was until I read that pain scale. I was like, that makes sense. Yeah, you really can't talk. You can't, it hurts to walk because it's just pounding. So that's my situation. But other people have others that have other symptoms that take them down, and those chronic illnesses are all unique. Even though they may have the same name, like I have something that's called trigeminal neuralgia. That's one of the things that I was diagnosed with. And we're working so hard to figure out, you know, what is contributing to it. Is there a way to make it stop? Something in my cervical spine. I've had whiplashes, like I said. So, you know, me and my specialists and my doctors are trying to figure out ways of making my body happier, and maybe as a result, it'll calm the head pain. Head pain at this moment, head pain. I have bilateral. So yeah, I have someone that's about to come to the door, so I'm gonna cut this one short. I may weave this into another video. Shoot, I may weave it into the patient's advocate video. But have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. Mwah! Peace. I'm back. Yeah, it was a delivery. I was expecting it. I love it when they send you the notifications and it's like, hey, they're gonna be here between this time and this time. Yeah, it was perfect. So anyway, I did pull a card. It's from the Beyond Lemurian deck. I love this deck so much. I think this is the same one I used the other day. And the card really hit home. And that's why I made the video I made a second ago. That's probably gonna be interwoven into this one. This is the home card. And the purpose of me mentioning what I mentioned a few seconds ago about chronic illness is because sometimes when you are in those flares, or yeah, in those flares, and you deal with daily pain that is around the 4 to 5 range. 4 out of 10 is basically, hey, I feel it, but I can kind of ignore it. 5 is like, hey, I'm feeling it and it's really hard to concentrate. Just my comprehension went from like here to here. And that literally is what happens. Also, it could be the medications that we're on. I can tell you this one medication I'm on, oh, I have to say hi to my friend's dog. All right, I am back. Got to visit with our neighbor's dog. Her name is Stella, the dog. Absolutely adore that dog. She's just so cute. She's like one of those little, I don't know if she's a lobster, I don't know what she is. She's a fluffy little dog with floppy ears and a curled up tail. And her coloring is like a white and gray, black kind of spots. So she just reminds me of a cow. That, and she loves her grass. She will go out there and just stand there and eat while I'm talking to her mama. It is the cutest freaking dog. So ironically, the card again is home. This is the card. And it's all about, I had it upside down. I'm leaving that in, by the way. It's home. So, you know, we have these dreams, and we can actually bring them to light by connecting to our home, connecting to ourselves, being in our safe space, cultivating what it is that we want to see in our reality. And after 3 days or 2 days, I've kind of lost track of my days at this point. It's pretty much been since Saturday, so whatever that is. 5 days. After 5 days of dealing with a flare, I pushed myself to go outside because I've noticed when I do activities that take my focus to a creative or focused action, my brain is diverted temporarily, most of the time while I'm doing the act, from the pain. It's still there, but for whatever reason, I don't feel it as much. And this doesn't work for everything. I never know what it's going to do. Like, I could be cooking dinner and I could still have the pain. It's not directed focus, I guess. But gardening, I could still feel the pain, but it wasn't as debilitating. That part came after I was done. I went out to bring some plants back outside that had been brought in for the cold. We had a little snap here where it got down to like 30 something, which is cold for our area. And I brought all these plants out and I was like, oh, I really need to tidy up a couple of these areas. So I didn't take everything away because I know nature pals might want to lay in some of those areas, but I did take back like a good amount of it. It was a nice little cleanup. Cut some plants back because some had gotten really overgrown and some had some dead, branches and intertwined with others that didn't need to be there. So it's just the start of the cleanup for spring in preparation. So while I was doing it, I could feel the pain, but it wasn't taking me down in that moment. The nausea, I couldn't really feel it. However, as soon as I stopped, boom, it flooded right back. So getting this home card, it really does hit home, pun not intended, I swear. But it reminds me that I'm just gonna read it because I think it's beautiful. I'm gonna wait until after this plane flies over though, because it may be hard for you to hear me. Do, 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 do. Okay, plane's gone-ish. All right, home. On our way home to oneness and the truest part of our infinite selves is to know ourselves beyond the socialized matrix of mind-constructed reality. I mean, let's think about that for a second. And I'm not saying the movie The Matrix, but I am saying what I've been hearing in the science realms about quantum physics. They've been talking about it for well over a decade now. The movies have integrated it, working with people who were in the science industry to try and pull in as much as they could. I think Quantum Menace may have been the one that I was thinking of, where they shrunk down, and don't want to give too much away. I don't even know if I'm saying the right thing. I'm a geek light. I know just enough to be dangerous. I think that's why I was such a good project manager. I can grasp onto various pieces. Anyway, so our constructed reality. So our mind constructed reality. Now that's the part that I want to hit on. Mind constructed reality. There is a thought, a growing thought, but a thought that our mind does create our reality. There are so many more people saying it now than there were 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago. I have been in the woohoo community, like not standard Western, not standard living practices, whatever it may be. Like, I'm kind of like, I've got a major foot or leg in that area. And they've been saying this for a very long time about how our mind, our perception of reality, of where we are in this reality, is what we're going to attract to us, be the law of attraction, or, oh, it's my other neighbor's doggy. Oh, we don't have dogs. My husband's allergic. So I get my fix with my neighbor's dogs. This little dog is so cute. He's like this little gray. He's got little gray hairs all over his dark brown or black fur, and it's cut really short, and he's just one of those tiny little... Anyway, I do love dogs. I'm a cat person, but I do love dogs. Grew up with dogs and cats. Yeah, I always had at least one of each. Anyway, our reality, before I get lost, because I do that. I'll jump around, and I don't want to have you guys lost because I'm jumping around too much. So our mind constructed reality. I subscribe to it, definitely. When my mind is focused on what I'm doing and focused on getting the results that I am working towards or believe I already have in that moment, I can feel it. I'm connected, I'm grounded, I'm home, I'm sitting in my soul, and I'm there. I hope I'm making sense. This isn't me trying to pull something to me, it's just me being it. And then whatever comes next, comes next. I often don't know exactly what I'm jumping into until I do it. Just like with this channel. I had thought about creating a channel for Healing Genesis for quite some time now. I mean, I created it back in 2018. That was 7 years ago. Sorry, almost 8 years ago. But I hadn't done anything with it outside of socials. And really, I wasn't that active. And YouTube just made sense. Just jump in and do it and see what's going to happen. I will never know what I'm going to do, or have, unless I just jump in and do it. And it's always been that way with my life. And I think a lot of people do live that way. Other people do a lot of planning. I'm a planner sometimes. I've got that mode, but for things like this, sometimes I will just jump in. Ballroom dance, I jumped in 100%. Doing art, watercolor and stuff back in 2013, I jumped in, did it all, like grabbed all the supplies I needed and learned all the stuff, started watching videos, and that's when I learned about YouTube and got some books from a friend of mine. Like, I just jump and then I see what happens. I don't have any big expectations of what's going to happen. I really don't. And there is a growing thought of expectation-based reality. But I honestly don't. I just jump in. Same thing with dance. When I jumped into dance, I jumped in because I didn't want to be so robotic. My mother would call me a robot. We can talk about that one in a different video. Love my mom. I do. This is not a I hate my mom thing. I love my mom. She was a beautiful person. Yes, was. She's no longer with us. But she would call me robotic, and I would shut down when it came to her. And I noticed in certain parts of my life how I handled my emotions. See, I use the word handled. I literally had a way of turning them on and off. And I would shut down and become robotic in certain situations. And I wanted to be able to get in touch with my emotions again. So I was in a position where I could do dance lessons and I could afford them. And I did. I jumped in. I bought the biggest package I could get. I filled it up with lessons. I was taking 1 to 2 lessons a week, going to every single party to dance. Like I probably danced 4 to 5 nights and 4 to 5 days. Like I did it. I jumped and I didn't know where it was going to go. I never thought I would perform in front of other people. I was just trying to get in touch with my emotions. But in order to do that, I had to share some of myself, be vulnerable, and allow myself to do that. And it was so beautiful. So I did get to do performances and competitions, which I never expected to do. I think I started in May, and by August I was in my first comp. It was so much fun. So that mind constructed reality, I allowed myself to be immersed in that moment of dance and learning. I allowed myself to get in that mode of learning about art and watercolor specifically back in that day. I'm so grateful for my friend who gave me her books. I still have them. They're beautiful. Thank you, Kimberly. I'll have to send you a shout out specifically to you. So yeah, I just love that part of this, getting home, mind constructed. So that's why every moment that I have energy to do something around my home. I do. And when I read this, I was like, yes, I am getting back to home, because I can tell you this year has been hard. This has been the hardest year dealing with this illness since it hit me 2023. And I have been bedbound more than I would have ever imagined in my life. So when I have these moments of, hey, I'm gonna do something, I have to do it. So I did. But on the flip side, having chronic illness, anyone that has it, you probably get it. I'm in a crash right now. I'm sitting down on a little stool on the floor, holding onto the table, wearing my sunglasses because my head is hurting, my ears are ringing, my head is ringing, and I'm just starting to get weaker and weaker and weaker. So while I am doing that mind-constructed reality, this is the part that I haven't figured out how to change yet. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. I don't fucking know. But you know what I'm gonna continue doing? I'm gonna continue diving into my home. I'm gonna continue diving into who I am and what I can do in this world, which honestly, at 52, almost 53 later this month, I'm still figuring it out. I'm still the me that was 9 or 10, drawing with her friends and playing in the yard. But I've definitely learned a lot since then. And that's why I have my channel. I want to share everything I've learned with others, so that if there's any little negative information that I pass on that helps anyone, freaking awesome. Because you know what? I didn't have this when I was younger. I was undiagnosed ADHD, had all this in my brain and didn't know how to articulate it, didn't know how to talk to other children, wanted to talk to adults more than kids, had a really hard time feeling like I understood how to interact with other children. So I would always observe, and then I'd have to figure it out. Like we didn't have YouTube to help. We didn't have the internet to help, research these things that we might be struggling with. And therapy wasn't as common when I was a child. Now my sister, thank goodness for the therapy she was able to get. She went through something when she was younger, and yeah, freaking helped her so much. And then we were able to do family counseling, and that was transformative for me. And it was the first time, I think I was 14 or 13, 14. I was 14. And I was able to identify how to hold space, and that I had been holding space. I didn't know that. I didn't know the term. The psychologist told me and said I didn't have to do it, but it was good that I was there for my sister and my mom. And I'm really grateful for therapy. It's been very, very helpful. I'm grateful that at 50, I think it was 50, I got diagnosed, maybe 51, with ADHD. And I was able to better understand why my brain worked the way it did. I kind of always thought I had it, but I didn't know. I exhibited a lot of the traits and the OCD. Everything was off the charts. I'm being very candid about my life here. I'm not going into super detail, but these are things I have on my social anyway, so it's not like I'm giving away too much. There's so many of us dealing with anxiety and OCD and ADHD and depression, and I could tell you with chronic illness, it makes those spiral. When I was diagnosed, I think it was 51, the ADHD, the ACD, ACDC, the ADHD and OCD were, for me, off the charts. If I'm in a situation that I can't control, I start to control everything. And I know that. Having a chronic illness makes the OCD worse, makes the anxiety worse. So me connecting to my home, allowing myself to be grounded, which if I continue reading this card, you'll hear it. So let me continue reading real quick. When all sense of flighty survival drops away A deep sigh radiates from the safe space within where you can ground dreams into reality. So everything I was just talking about, the flighty survival drops away. A deep sigh radiates from the safe space within. Hello! This is literally the day I'm having today. While I am writhing in pain, I also know that I'm safe. I know that my feet are on the ground. Our home is constructed well. We had to have construction done earlier this year after the hurricane. Our windows are good. Our doors are steady and strong. Our roof is wonderful. I say hello. I say goodbye more than I say hello, but I do communicate with our home. I actually heard or read something about connecting to your home, your space. And when I leave, every time I leave, I'm like, home, watch over our babies. Talking about our cats. And then I'm like, girls, watch over our home. They hopefully can feel that. Everything is energy. And if that's true, that means not only the plants and our animals, but our home. I know I'm getting really out there, but I did say that my page is SO and exoteric, so you're gonna get it all. I am open to a lot of what I'm hearing in our reality. It doesn't mean that I subscribe to all of it, but I don't know what I don't know. And that's gonna be a big factor that you're gonna see on my channel, is that I will say something about like, hey, this is what I understand about the reality, but I know that I don't know everything about whatever that topic is I'm talking about. I know that this is the slice that I understand of that huge pie of whatever that topic is, and somebody's gonna probably have something about like, hey, you didn't think about blah, 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 blah. You're right. I probably am going to miss a lot of things on the topics I bring up here. And I want to acknowledge that right now, because again, I don't know what I don't know. Okay, so let me finish this because I really need to go ice my head. Where did I leave off? Oh, deep heart-based presence is a direct portal home. Aligned with your temple space, you have dreams, visions, and may yearn for an etheric realm. But it is when you are fully present in our bodies that we can actualize ideas and make a difference. Be grounded, find your home. The deeper our roots, the higher we can reach into the heavens. That's pretty cool. Yeah. Cleo, you can't have my water, my coffee. No, that's mine. Okay, go lay down. Find your spot. So, home. I know it took me probably 10 or 15 minutes to get through this card and my message about chronic illness. If you have a friend or a family member who is dealing with chronic illness, please ask questions. Please dispel any assumptions that you might have about their reality. If you're curious, ask. We're happy to talk about it, or at least I am. And I don't know everything about the disorder that I have. I'm in a group with other people who have this disorder, and they will talk about stuff that I've not experienced because it hits everyone differently. So, well, hello there. I've got Matilda in here now. She's our youngest. Cleo's the one that you saw earlier. Isn't that right, boo-boo? So yeah, chronic illness. Hope everyone is able to find the relief that you need, the support desired, and the healing that can be. Cheers. Bye.